Maestro Boni, would you begin by telling us about Donizetti's score for this opera?
Oh, what's to tell? It's something you listen to. It's not something you talk about. It's a great opera. There's no doubt about that. It's one of the masterpieces of the Romantic era, of the bel canto era. It's not just a canary bird opera. It's got a wonderful role for soprano, a very great dramatic role for soprano, but a fantastic role also for the tenor, the baritone and the bass. I mean, it's wonderfully written, it's beautifully orchestrated, and it's a great piece of drama. It's based on a very fascinating novel by Sir Walter Scott.
The story of Lucia, I suppose you could say very simply, is about two star-crossed lovers, families who've been in full-on rebellion for years. But I think it's more than that. It is actually about one person, and possibly that's why the opera is called Lucia de Lammermoor, and how she touches on everyone around her.
Her family have just been usurped, or are about to be usurped in Scotland, and added to that mix is this kind of Romeo and Juliet love story where she falls in love with a young man named Edgardo, who saved her from a bull one day when she was just strolling through the forest. I mean, there's so many Freudian sort of implications with you know, someone saving you from a bull, but fine. She falls madly in love with him, and she discovers who he is, and in fact, he is her family's sworn enemy.
She and Edgardo are kindred spirits, they're soulmates. They belong to another era, if you like, a romantic Scotland, which is now no longer. And that she inspires him to strive for that. And he, in turn, in this very male-controlled society in which she lives, he provides her with a means of escape, really. And of course, when he leaves for France in Act One, there goes her means of escape.
Ancor pago a me, mi tolse il padre, il mio retaggio vita. pace e rio, la mia perdita intera, il sangue mio e la corre.
I like Edgardo, I think mostly because he's probably very much a tenor as a character. I think I relate to some of the aspects. He's very proud. He feels very important. Whether he is or not, maybe is at issue. And so he also, he's put in a situation where he feels like he's going to save the world. And so, and he takes that very seriously. So it's a wonderful character to play in that respect. He's also extremely volatile. Any little thing happens, you see this side of Edgardo that plays itself out as the opera progresses, and I think also makes him interesting. He can't believe for a second that the woman he loves would betray him, and of course, when she does, what is left but to kill yourself? So it's a pretty interesting character play. The scope of the character is wonderful.
Di facci tuttavia splende il castello, ma scarsa fu la notte al tripudio. Ingrata donna, mentr'io mi struggo in disperato pianto, pur ridi esulti accanto al felice consorte. Delle gioie in seno, delle gioie in seno,
Lucia has an effect on all of them. I mean, of course, there's the situation with her brother Enrico, where she is the means by which he's going to be hopefully saved politically and in terms of family fortune, and in terms of his life as well.
Ecco il tuo sposo.
Her brother wants her to be married to another man named Arturo, and she actually agrees because her brother gives her a false letter saying that Edgardo has been unfaithful to her. So she agrees to marry this person who she's actually never met him.
This tragedy of three people, the first die, Arturo, after Lucia, and after Edgardo. I ask why, who is responsible? The question is so, and the answer is Enrico, because he pushed Lucia married with Arturo. It's a wrong direction, and only one point in the whole piece where is Enrico positive, where love, Lucia, when she saw the leather, she collapsed, and then he's totally different, like before and after. But it's only short period, and in then point we sing together the famous Stuart. There is Enrico like never before.
Let her come to you. Tuo fratello sono ancora. And I think at that moment she thinks, oh yes, and here, build me your pet. It's all right, I'm not angry anymore. I love it when actually one scene overlaps with another,
Right.
because then it actually keeps the impetus of the drama going.
I know, and that makes sense to that Normanno opens the door and I get into it and I see them.
Yeah, and then
I go, and Enrico comes to me and I say, okay, listen, it's better you leave. I take care of that.
Yeah.
And
then there's this feeling of the door closing and you're left alone.
Right.
And you have to do it.
Right. Raimondo is the educator of Lucia, and she trusts him very much. So it's very easy to talk her into some things which are later on very tragic, because Raimondo is probably the most guilty person in this opera. So he is responsible for 3 dead people at the end.
Tua speranza l'ultimo raggio tramontò. Credei al tuo sospetto che il frate chiudesse tutte le strade, onde sul franco suolo all'uomo che amar giurasti non giungesser tue nuove. Io stesso un foglio da te vergato, per sicura mano recargli feci.
Raimondo is one of those characters who try to make it right for everybody, which is very tragic because, like all of us who tried to do that once, had noticed that this is not possible. You have to go in one direction and keep that, because always jumping around, that doesn't help. That makes it even worse at the end. So what he is doing, he tries to make something possible for the family, which is in the interest of Enrico. And well, finally, this was the start of a very tragic history, a very tragic story at the end.
After the wedding, in their nuptial bed, the final screw just, what do you say? The final screw goes loose, and she stabs him to death. And then spends about 15 minutes being totally crazy on stage in front of people singing absolutely impossible things.
Of all the mad scenes in opera, and there are many, it's perhaps the most famous, and sopranos love to sing it. It can be sung by a light voice, it can be sung by a heavier voice, as long as she has the flexibility and the top voice. It's a great challenge, because I mean, to do it properly, you have to really act a mad scene. It's like the mad scene in Giselle or anything like that. I mean, it has to be a tour de force of acting and a tour de force of singing, because if you can't really sing this well, and to sing it well, you have to have great breath control, great musicality, and we're lucky this time.
A lot of what you need is provided in the music and provided in the text. And these sudden changes that she goes through the whole way through are really navigated for you by what's in the score. And it's a great roadmap, and it's a great place to start. But the problem is you can only start there. Then everything else needs to be added, and you know, in order for the souffle of bel canto to really work, you need to somehow bring your own interpretation to it. And then most importantly as well, is that it needs to be executed with a relative amount of ease. I mean, the vocal virtuosity, otherwise it's not virtuoso. The maestro is probably the world's leading exponent of bel canto and actually of Lucia. I mean, he's not just married to one of the world's all-time great Lucias, he's also 50% of that creative team. I can't say it's a bed of roses to work with someone like that. I'd like to, but I mean, it's totally intimidating. It's really terrifying. And to sing for someone who has such intimate knowledge of my greatest idol is, I mean, basically, I think I really wanted to kill myself on the first day of rehearsal. But, I mean, he's a fountain of knowledge. He's a fountain of information. He's fabulously musical. I mean, sensationally musical. And I either had to quit and, you know, jump off some bridge, or I had to come and try and play and try and be at the party.
the mad scene is always wonderful to do if you have a great soprano. We have a lovely soprano this time, so it's a real pleasure. It very much belongs to the bel canto period. I mean, if you can't sing, don't do Lucia de Lammermoor. If you can't sing well. It's a great pleasure this time for me because I have a marvelous cast. You know, I've worked with Ricky Leach many times, and it's great to have him in this role. And the baritone Dalibor Yanis I've never heard before, and I think he's extraordinary. Wonderful talent. And Reinhard Hagen I've worked with before, wonderful bass. So it's really a great pleasure. Great pleasure.
When he starts talking about, it was good, the reaction to the genetrice, but when he says la madre, that can be much stronger. And I mean,
Andrew is my great love. I've had the time of my life working with him. And he works you like a dog. I mean, it's not, you know, he's not fun to work with because he lets you do what you want to do or because it's easy.
my mother hated me.
I feel like it's kind of a low blow.
Yes, it is. It's absolutely below the belt.
Yeah.
And you know, and then he says, and will you actually see your brother executed just because you won't do this? I mean, it's huge emotional blackmail.
Yeah.
Andrew has made the process really organic and easy almost. It's never super easy, but sometimes it's harder than others, and it has not been difficult. It's been a wonderful sort of journey, finding these people, finding the best way to express it on the stage. Because, you know, what it is it's quite often it's a delicate balance between telling a story naturally, but for a camera that might be something that doesn't read on stage. And so it's combining that sort of natural acting with, and action, with the stagecraft of the large stage of opera. And to get both of those things married can be a challenge, and it's one that's been really satisfying.
We've got a bit gestified here. No, Kate's not there. Yeah, and we've got to talk about this hold, because...
We should look at the spacing of this.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just wrong. I think that Kate should come down onto the steps.
Okay.
Just be careful when you come down.
Keep screaming out.
Yeah, you know, Gilda, maybe Rigoletto, no.
Right.
And just be aware that it's the head and not the shoulder. Bring the head to the angle, not the thing up to meet it. Yeah. Oh yes, this was at the end of the aria when you did da, 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 da. We're just getting a bit too much. And you used to just do something really lovely with the hair.
Yes.
And I think from what I know of the wig,
It's a little bit loose there. Okay.
it'll do it. In staging Lucia, I think the difficulty is often that you make it just too romantic. It's a wonderfully romantic opera, but one can get sort of bogged down a little bit and ignore the very strong dramatic possibilities that exist. You know, an example is the scene I was talking about with Enrico before, where so often you see Enrico played as an out-and-out villain. Now, this isn't so. You know, you only see him at his absolute worst when his back is absolutely to the wall. And he, of course, is being manipulated by Normanno. In fact, everybody in the castle, all the Ashtons and the principal characters, are being manipulated by Normanno. And so if you can go down that road, then I think, you know, we've got something to talk about dramatically.
I love when we make something like movie, not like opera, typical opera with a tradition, you know. This is a little bit different because it's a little bit more real, and I feel very well with both these singers. It's nice.
And the director, of course.
Of course. I met him in London first time when we did Così fan tutte. It was pleasure. And also here, it's the same time. We are like a family all together.